let's dive right in. Your new single, Waste of Who I Am. Tell me a little bit about the song.
The song, so Waste of Who I Am is kind of about being undervalued as a person, I guess. It's about sort of being sick of like being told to be somebody else, like specifically in a relationship, but generally anywhere, like being told that I suppose your character's not something that's that somebody wants, or they want you to change to be somebody else. And it's kind of like no, I'm not going to change. This is who I am. And if I were to try and be somebody else, that would be a waste of who I am. The title is actually taken from a quote from Kurt Cobain from Nirvana, I believe. I'm pretty sure he said that at one point.
And you also have a
and if you didn't, I'm going to tell everybody you did. He's not here to argue about it.
You also have a music video out, a dark sort of music video.
Yeah. It's the video was sort of cool. We kind of threw it together pretty last minute, but we tend to do that. But the video kind of
very Halloween vibes.
Because the release came out sort of Halloween time, so we thought let's do something sort of a little bit spooky, a little bit creepy, and it kind of gave it this sort of like the sort of creepy stuff, and the horror stuff was kind of this sort of lingering sort of negativity or whatever. It kind of tied into the song a little bit as well, which is cool because good when they relate. When there's a point to it.
And we just like the creepy imagery for that time too. It's not like we're a devil worshipping creepy band. We're actually nothing like that. But
do you remember when she came out in zombie makeup though?
Yeah.
The first time, and we were in this like really creepy abandoned building, and she came around the corner in the dark, and it was terrifying.
And then she made this horrible squealing sound. There's a video of it somewhere. I'm gonna post it to the socials, but this horrible like scream is gross.
But I think metal music is that much more effective, right? With just the dark visuals and the imagery. I think it makes the music more effective. Do you think?
I think so. I mean, metal's always had like this darker, mysterious thing, and even like bands like Black Sabbath and some of the metal founders, like, in person, they weren't really biting the heads off rats and things. So, but it just gave it mysterious, like I want to know what that's about, I think. And it's like, metal would be really weird if everyone was wearing like unicorn outfits and stuff. It just wouldn't. I can't see it like being like a Katy Perry video with like bright colors and
maybe we should do that. Maybe
people are gonna like that next video.
Sad could be the lollipop.
But do you think you put out music videos for every song, every single that you put out has a video, right?
Yeah.
Do you think that helped you connect with your audience better?
I think so. I think we live in kind of a multimedia world at this point, don't we? Like everyone's all over the internet. Everyone's accessing media and content like 24/7. So the more sort of media platforms that you can reach, the more people you're going to reach.
It seems to be that most people, when you like, it's like, hey, check out this band, the first place they go is YouTube. So to be accessible on there, I think is the smart decision. And for us, I think most of our streams have come on, especially yesterday and Kiss With Alive, come from video streams. So I think it's always important to have a good image and a visual aspect for engagement, really. I mean, because to keep someone's attention these days is really, really, really hard. There's so many great acts and so many bands that have so many great videos. So I think you have to be on that kind of playing field.
And you've been putting out singles all of last year, right? Is it a strategic thing? Instead of putting out an EP or an album, do you think it makes sense to put out singles periodically, just so you're sort of top of mind with your audience through the year?
I think a degree of that is strategic. It's also bankrupting us, but there is a strategic element because we didn't you know, we kept pushing the album back because of the lockdown and the restrictions, because we want to be out there to tour an album. And I think it is still a singles world right now, and people are listening to singles more than anything. So I think what we're going to do is the first 5 singles that we release, put them in, repackage them as an EP, and then when the restrictions and all of that and life resumes, when all of that ends, that's when we'll release the album, because we want to be able to tour off that album. And the thing is that all these songs were kind of written in lockdown hell, and so that was pretty much all we could do, was release videos and singles, and even shooting those were hard around the restrictions.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's why during the Yesterday video, we're in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that was in lockdown. I mean,
yeah. But do you guys have a tentative date or a time frame for the album? What can you tell me about the album?
I can tell you that whatever we say will be bullshit, because we moved it. I think that we're gonna do it around the summer. That's the plan now. I mean, we've said it 3 times about, you know, we're gonna do it in February, we're gonna do it in this, but all of that has been kind of based around when we think things are gonna lift. But I think having a record around the summer, an EP when we tour in February, March-ish would be good. We're gonna definitely release another single when we tour in February. Mm-hmm. And yeah, maybe, I would say probably the summer would be the target of when this is going to be out. We also, because of the timeline with vinyl too, we want to release a physical version of it. Mm-hmm. And the lead times with that right now are ridiculously long. Like, people can't, I mean, every band that we know has been like, sorry, we got to delay our album, we can't get vinyl pressed. And I think we're in the wrong business. We should get a vinyl pressing.
I know. We need to invest in some of that machinery.
Yeah. Vinyl sales are through the roof in Europe and the UK, it looks like.
Yeah, it seems to have had a new lease of life. So I can't remember who we were talking about it with yesterday, and they were saying that they've got like a younger nephew or something, and they were like, oh, have you seen this new way of playing music? It's called vinyl. And the guy was like, what are you talking about? That's like age-old technology, but like
1920s, dude.
The younger generations of like music lovers are getting into vinyl now, and it's becoming like a collector's item. I mean, like it always was, and there's always been people that have been sort of loyal to it and collecting vinyl, but it seems to have really, there's been a massive sort of increase in people who love that and who like sort of collecting it. So why not do that? If it's sort of popular at this point in time, then that's what we're going to do, because that's what the people want. So.
Yeah, I wonder, like you said, if it's also because it lends itself to a lot of album art and a lot of visual representation. I wonder if it's because of that as well.
Yeah. So people have got something to sort of hold. They've got something to look at. When you've got like a sleeve within a vinyl, it's got like the lyrics printed in there and like photos and things that it's like a whole package.
I think it makes you connect with it a bit more too. Yeah. It's like, rather than, it's like, you know, when you go on Spotify or Apple Music, you don't really, it's your connection with it is the playing of the music, and that's it. But when you like actually hold it in your hand and you can look at it, and look at pictures and read album credits, like, what are those? Holy shit. Like, who mixed this? Who played on this? That's, people want to see stuff, I believe.
Yeah, beautiful. What is the genesis of the band? How did you guys come together?
There was an ad looking for very sexy men with long hair. No.
And we were the remnants, because none of them worked out.
I saw it was basically a Facebook post, a visual of Dan singing in a pub, a Zeppelin song, I think it was. And I had written a comment saying, who is this singer? How can I find them? And short story is that his wife reached out and said, this is Dan Taylor, here's his contact. And then I reached out to him, and he didn't believe me at all.
He was like, oh, hi, my name's Mike, I've done X, Y, and Z. And I was like, no, you're a random person from the internet who's lying to me to get me to come to his house to do naughty things to me in your basement. But no, yeah, we eventually we got talking and stuff, and then we sort of met up and started writing songs, and then Sam
came in.
Sam just stumbled upon us. The music had a lot of sort of like the Keys kind of vibe, and we were like, we want someone to do that. We want that to be like an integral part of the music, and to have it to be an integral part of the music and not have someone there actually playing the stuff would be sort of disingenuous. So we thought
someone else. I mean, Sam's an amazing singer too, so someone else who can give it Dan a break sometimes, because vocally it's quite a hard record, and just having that extra voice that's a lot better than mine is very helpful.
Steve Lowe vocals.
How would you describe the sound of the band?
Diverse. I think it's like a melting pot of sounds, really. I think there's not. I wouldn't say it's just one sound. I think it's a combination of metal, rock, pop, and I would even go so far as some R&B stuff in there. Like we always said we wanted to write really great songs that could translate if you play them acoustically, but also things that we all grew up listening to and loved. So there's influences of all of our favorite bands in there, and new bands too. So I think it's just, I would say a melting pot of just music, ear sex.
Yeah, it's so many different influences. I think that's what the thing is. So like, even within one song, you might have one sort of verse hook that's really sort of R&B sort of style in the melody, and then literally a breakdown hits, and it's the biggest, heaviest, metalist thing that you could think of. And we like to put that in there because it keeps people guessing, it keeps people on their toes, and it keeps you engaged. And it's music that we like. So it sounds like music that we like. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah. But that's pretty cool, right? Because it's obviously every artist's endeavor to kind of develop a slightly unique sound, right?
Yeah.
And to kind of get there without sounding like your influences, I think is quite the challenge.
Always, I think, yeah. I mean, yeah, and to throw things in that you wouldn't normally throw in the genre too. It's like, big background vocals or guitar solos, and I don't know, anything that we can put in there, they can get away with, we'll sneak in.
Yeah, but Mike, as a producer and somebody who's worked with lots of other artists, how much does the producer get to influence the sound and the direction of the band, of a band?
I think normally a lot. I mean, that's why people come to producers, is to kind of develop the band's sound. The difference with this project is that we've kind of written the record and produced it as it went along. So we didn't like jump into this months long pre-production thing. Okay, here's the demos. Now we're going to sit with them and learn them, and then we'll go in the studio. It was like, okay, let's write a song. Okay, let's record the song. It was like that. We just wrote it and recorded it kind of at the same time. So I would say, to answer your question, I would say that it's kind of, I guess the production has a direct influence on the sound of it.
It was kind of like natural though, wasn't it? Like you say, with the production, if you get given an initial song, you, in producing that song, would mold it and change it,
rip
it apart, take things away and add things and all that. But that sort of came really organically throughout the process because it was happening simultaneously to writing the song. So the songs kind of molded themselves as they sort of came about.
Yeah, and you tend to be a bit more critical with things too when you're close to it. But we didn't go through these massive stages where we write something and then destroy it and then start again. Most of that was done with just melodies. Like we tried a melody and go, that's okay. We could write a better verse, or let's change the chords here, and I think it'll be stronger. It was really quick. I mean, every song was done relatively quickly, and we didn't spend a lot of time like destroying it or rewriting a ton of things.
And the writing, do all of you write, or is it just a couple of you?
Everyone writes. I mean, everyone in the band is a writer. Dan and I wrote the majority of the record, and then we had our good friend in Nashville, Steve Diamond, come and co-write some songs. But it's like an open slate, so anyone can come in with an idea, and it's like, okay, let's develop that and change that into something. Even though there's two of us that have been the core writers because the project started before Sam was involved. It's never been like we have to write the songs thing. It's like, if you got a cool idea, bring it to the table, and then we'll develop it.
One of the other challenges, obviously, speaking to lots of people, is getting your music discovered. So, are you guys trying to do anything different to get your music discovered?
I think the videos, we had distribution through Sony, is where we've been putting everything out with. So that helps us because we can reach a lot more territories than a normal music distribution. It's like 200 and something territories globally. I mean, we're still learning too, because this is the first project that it's kind of our baby, and we're looking for new, fresh ways to get our music out there. And there's no rules to it anymore. The game is so open and changing at all times. And being that it's a digital world, it's like we're always trying to find new ways to get things out there.
I haven't discovered anything totally innovative that's worked better than anyone else yet. So if you have any tips,
we could be the first band that goes on an astronaut mission or something.
Let's play a gig from space.
If anyone's out there listening and you want to sponsor that,
Elon.
Yeah,
we're here.
We'll go on the plane. We'll go on the shuttle and we'll play a live concert on the shuttle.
Yeah, but are you guys signed? You said you're signed to Sony, is it?
We have distribution. So I own a label that has distribution with Sony. So we've been releasing our records that way. But the band is, I wouldn't say the band's officially signed. We've just been distributing through Sony. So we are kind of a free agent right now if we choose to be with a label. But we're completely independent, and we've had radio charting success completely as an independent band.
It's awesome.
But tell me, Dan, how do you think COVID has changed going out on the road? What do you think is the current state of the music business itself?
I mean, it's changed touring in that you can't do it.
There's a lot less people.
There's a lot less people doing it. It's I mean, now that sort of in this country now, things have sort of opened up again, so you can go out and play shows. But I think that the whole thing has sort of polarized people, in that there are a group of people who are still terrified to go and mix with that many people in one building. And so they're still sort of a little bit standoffish, don't want to sort of really go and do that. But then on the other hand, you've got the people that are so excited to get back out there and go to venues and go to shows that they'll literally go to anything, like all the local venues and stuff. Like they'll go see whatever band's on that week, you know what I mean? So I think it's sort of dependent on the type of person, really. But we've played a couple of shows since full lockdown sort of eased, and I'm pretty sure the majority of our shows have sold out. So I mean, obviously there's people that want to go to
shows, yeah.
and things. We've now got these COVID passes and stuff. I mean, I'm not a politician. I don't know if that's going to work or not. They seem to think it will. Maybe it won't, but we'll see how it goes.
I don't know. It's such a pain.
Yeah.
Now you got to prove all this to go to venue. I think it's going to hurt sales, definitely.
Yeah. It's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough sort of little while, I think, until I guess it's sort of accepted and that we're as safe as we can possibly be, and everyone just goes, right, okay, let's go back to normal sort of thing. But I mean, if I had all the answers, dude, I'd have sorted it out by now.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, but tell me a little bit about the early days. What was your road to becoming a musician?
Mine, personally.
Yeah.
So when I was a kid, when I was in like school, I used to be in the choir, and I used to get picked for the parts of the plays and stuff because I just sort of could sing. It was just something that I kind of did, and I was all right at it. So sort of doing that. And then when as I got a little bit older, I got a little bit of stick for it and stuff. So I kind of quit. But then I got to 16 and I got to college, and a buddy of mine came over to me and he was like, "You used to sing at school, didn't you?" And I was like, "Well, yeah, years ago, like ages ago." He was like, "All right, well, I've been learning to play the drums, and I've got this guitarist guy, and we're going to start a band. Do you want to be the singer?" And I was like, "Yeah, all right then." So I just went along to sort of a rehearsal with them, and we started playing music, and it just felt like one of the best things that I'd ever been a part of. So I carried on, and literally from there, I've just been in various different bands, and I performed sort of solo for a while, and it's just sort of the rest is history, I guess. It's just I just did it and then fell in love with it. So just carried on. So for me personally, that's what it was. In terms of rock music, that was my cousin's fault. He brought me a Slipknot album and a Linkin Park album and a Limp Bizkit album, and it's like, "Oh, I've just put these. You want to listen?" And then I was hooked.
That was it.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you guys, Mike and Sam?
Sam, go ahead.
Oh, wow.
Sam was a ballroom dancer.
Oh, I was wondering when this was going to come up in an interview. Yeah, I've always kind of been one of those people that dabbles in a bit of everything, really. Yeah, like Mike says, I was a ballroom and Latin American dancer at one point.
Can you tell?
Okay.
Can't tell.
Yeah, so I was a similar sort of progression to Dan, really. Kind of singing when I was younger and kind of, involved in a few different things, and then got into bands quite young. And then I was studying to be a doctor at one point and thought, now rock and roll seems a little bit more fun. So
not quite as lucrative.
Yeah, no. I could have been so rich. I'd have had a job during the pandemic at least.
Yeah, no kidding.
And yeah, just kind of decided to jump in at 18 into the industry and kind of started off doing pretty much anything that I could, really. And then, yeah, here we are.
Mike?
And me. I started playing very young. I think I was 4 when I started playing guitar. And I think just being really, really young, I was just obsessed with music. Every aspect of it, like how drums sounded, how things were, listen to. My mom was a big music fan. She was into the Beatles and anything that was cool and rock and coming out.
Your mom was in the Beatles?
Yeah, she's into the Beatles.
Oh, right. Which one was she?
Yeah. So, I had parental influence, probably subconsciously, that of all really great music that kind of led me to be into it. But ever since being really little, it's all I've ever wanted to do. And I just kind of had, it's almost like I had no choice. It was like, that's what I'm here to do, music. And, whether it's the powers that be or God or whatever you believe, but whatever that is, it's like, you're doing this and nothing else. Even when I've tried to do other things, because music hasn't been the most lucrative thing at times. Yeah. It's like, no, you're doing that. So that's what I know and what I love. So I have no choice.
Yeah, I was just going to ask, what else would you have done if not for music? Do you see yourself doing something else?
When I was really little, I mean, I wanted to be a hockey player. I was a hockey.
You're from Canada,
and I'm Canadian, so what else?
I think if I wasn't doing music, I'd probably be OnlyFans.
I wanted to be. You have an OnlyFans, don't you?
Not yet.
Hex on OnlyFans. No, I think I wanted to be a scientist. That's what I mean. When I was little, my mom said I had my chemistry set and my microscope, and I would walk around with my lab coat on and thinking I was a doctor. But maybe that.
Oh, Mike.
And I've always been fascinated by that stuff, and I've been fascinated by archaeology too. So I have other passions that I would pursue if I wasn't doing this. But this is what I am. I think the majority of what makes up me.
And if he wasn't doing music, it would be a waste of who he is.
And I was a maths teacher.
Wow.
Yeah. Before I met Mike, I used to teach maths in a college.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Is that a wow, well done, or a wow of shock?
Yeah, is that a wow of shock? Like you thought I was?
Yeah, with a little bit of shock, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I used to do. But I think dream career, if I could do something else, I think I'd still just be trying to be center of attention. I'd probably be like, the dream would be maybe like an actor or something like that. Literally just not an erotic actor.
I wasn't gonna say it.
So you guys go back. You're back on the road in February 22, right?
Yes. We can't wait.
You have a tour.
Yeah. February kicks off on the 17th.
Somewhere around there.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
We're actually here at our studio today for rehearsals for the tour.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And these are you doing any festivals? Are you doing, or these are just, shows that only you guys are playing at?
These are small club dates, headline club dates for our art, because it's our first tour. But after that, after the February run, I believe we do in March sometime, we have a festival.
Yeah, we've got a couple of festivals booked around the UK, and we're hoping that we can book more. We're literally just sort of so itchy to get out and play now. So anything we can play, anything that suits.
We're just waiting to fill the calendar now.
Yeah.
That's it for this week's episode of Tales from the Road. Tales from the Road is brought to you by the concert photographer and Moving Pictures Media. Don't forget to join us next week for another episode. If you like what you heard, subscribe to our podcast on iTunes, Spotify, or Google Play. Thank you for listening.